Chapter 11. Dragging was the most brutal fight I've ever had. Trying to fly while defending myself from the fire felt impossible. All my focus went to trying to fly straight, leaving me little mental space to protect myself. The best I could do was avoid taking real damage, while being unable or too afraid to fly in to land any real damage. I fly higher into the sky above the archdemon, giving me more time to think and process a plan rather than wasting more energy. I cast away my sword. Father God, please help me defeat this beast and bring peace back to Earth. A bow and arrow appeared in my hands, a large bow created from alder wood from the forest of heaven, and the arrow made of angel steel. I was always a horrible flyer, but I got my highest marks in archery and firearms and guardian angel training. I felt my power returning to me, my will for victory. I soared higher in the sky as the archdemon chased after me. I flew high enough to where the oxygen thinned out. I turned, firing an assault of arrows as quickly as my arm could load, piercing the beast's wings, throat, and eyes. The archdemon smacked against the ground with an earth-shattering boom. I remained in the air, knowing it wasn't over, but at least I had him slowed down. "Michael, go!" I shouted. Michael resisted for a moment, but he was unarmed, and we could both hear the demon horde coming to protect one of their generals. Michael relented the retreat but grabbed Dimitri's cocoon and set off, spreading his wings and flying away. Only seconds later, the archdemon was surrounded, dead. The demons screamed and cried out in pain over their fallen leader. I didn't have anything in my tank to fight these demons. I could hear the roars from the distant archdemons falling upon my location. I raised my hands. I wash over California and the Lamb's blood. Thunder clapped in the background. The clouds joined together as lightning pulsated through their shadows. I lowered my hands and the clouds broke, blood raining down. Demons cried in agony as the blood melted their faces down to the bone. Several monsters had turned back into humans, shocked at their transformation. All those beyond saving were attempting to escape the rain but couldn't get far. The archdemon itself has melted to nothing as the storm picked up, its clouds covering all of California. I flew off in Michael's direction, weary and exhausted. I could observe how the rain subdued most demons. They were on a rooftop not too far away. Michael applauded me as I landed next to him. "Bravo. Raphael told me you were a clever one. A former human. Quite interesting indeed. I believe you may have contained California, but we're getting global reports all over the Earth. We could try pleading the blood over the entire planet, but..." He shook his head, denying its viability as a genuine option. Instead, he sat on the ledge, looking over the demons transforming back into human, or being melted alive. "Or after would be a much less painful way. The blood is corrosive to any non-believer," Michael mentioned. Out of the millions of thoughts running down my head at once, I'm not criticizing you. I didn't believe it was a true blight. But the battle turned into day and blackened into night. Their numbers were endless. Even I was tired. Raphael had warned me, but I didn't believe him. "Warned you?" "You were with him. You are Enoch." "Oh yeah, that's my name," I laughed. Michael opened his mouth but said, "Do you remember your life on Earth?" "Somewhat. I remember wanting to leave. I remember wanting things to be over, but I don't remember too many details. I've never been human. Humans go through it because they've died too long to remember naturally. Their minds would have otherwise gone to dementia or insanity rather than attempt to perceive today's world and their past life." "What are you trying to say, Michael?" "Our leader, Metatron, has gone missing about 20 years ago. Now, you are here," Michael notes. I hadn't even considered such a thing possible. was human. I was an actual human. I didn't live thousands of years ago. I'm from Jersey. I defend myself. Yeah. But sometimes human spirits are reincarnated. Some believe it's a reward, but Jesus teaches us to hone a sword for God. Look, I'm not saying you're him. I guess it's my way of complimenting you. You fought an archdemon. Only archangels have such power. Michael nodded. I didn't necessarily overpower it. You outsmarted it. Quite honestly, it's far more impressive. I would have just cut its head off. You played at its arrogance, then shot it down to use its weight against it. I'm impressed. Are you ready to head back to heaven? Michael asked as the sun rose over the horizon. I have 10 more hours left on Earth, and I intend to use them. I have to find Jezebel and Ahab. 2 people out of so many humans. I could never tell them apart. Only that they're not demons. I wouldn't waste your time. Unless you want to be responsible for pouring the Lamb's blood over the entire planet. The blight is not ending. There's never been a demon invasion so big. So many humans had given their souls to Samael. Now Sam is dead. I knew if Sam died, there would be a rapture. He meant too much to God. The only one he ever loved more was Yeshua. I hurt God so deeply when Samael betrayed him. Yet we all knew it was inevitable. How is it inevitable? We're all born for a purpose, Enoch, big or small. We all play a role in God's design. Sam wasn't satisfied with God's design. Yet he came to earth to do the same thing. He fled his responsibility in heaven, and he fled his responsibility in hell. A few thousand years later, Jesus came to earth, only for God to see if men were truly evil, or if there was good worth preserving. Well, Jesus was killed by the evil that governs only men. Humanity isn't evil, but humanity fails to see the evil in these God-kings ruling over them. So slowly the entire planet erodes into evil. But as Jesus puts it, the humans are good-natured, but I've never seen goodness in their existence. Michael explained before yawning. Michael looked down below him, then up high. Though he aligned with my beliefs, I was still sifting through his words to process my perspective. I never saw humans as evil, but though I saw great evil in society. So I guess the sheep are not to blame for following wolves disguised as shepherds. How does Jesus still defend the humans after they killed him? I finally asked. Jesus forgives. God does not. The Adonai tore Rome and Greece asunder. He ruined the empires, enslaved nations, and brought them all to ruin. Jesus exposed the evil in the so-called religious cults damning the name of God and separating people from salvation. There is no religion. There is only a relationship with God, yet they killed Jesus. And the church remains unfixed and corrupted. Hence all the reformed demons as pastors. Michael nodded, breathing. The war against evil seems endless. We aren't gaining the upper hand. More death, and the more humans are born. A decade later, more demons exist. Humans are born and deny God and virtue and hate one another. It made the war endless, where there was once peace. Can we end it? I believe the rapture is the only way. Samael was the last person defending the sin on earth. Without him and these demons, there's only one way to save humanity. What about the divine intercession? You need a team of angels to prepare the ritual over earth. It will not spare the evil, bloodshed, and suffering. Will it protect the innocent? Michael rubbed his chin. I've never seen a divine intercession performed on more than one person at a time. You need an army of angels to prepare the prayer at once. How many? At least 1,000. I'm pretty sure most would want to go through with the rapture. We've all lost friends and family fighting this scourge. I would lend my help. But if you fall one angel short of 1,000, I'm helping the rapture. When I get back to heaven, I'll start asking more angels, I confirm. I pray you are successful. Using a non-lethal method to quell the blight will be a relief. How about I leave my weapon with you, and you hand me yours? You may want to remain on Earth, but I do not. Michael nodded back to Dimitri's cocoon. I nodded, holding on my bow as it transformed into a basic longsword. Michael held up my blade to the sun, tilting it slightly and extending it to create a great sword through his will. He seemed satisfied with my weapon's purple hue rather than his red tint. Without a goodbye, Michael gave a stiff gust of wind to thrust him into the air. He was soon out of vision, flying back to heaven the long way. I suppose it was an option for me as well if I could fly long enough. I felt exhausted. I only had half a day before I could return to heaven. I'll find a safe space to wait for Dimitri's intercession to end. I was only glad Michael had spared his life.